Hey guys, Mike here. So definitely an interesting day in the market with high beta stuff going green, crypto's going green. We'll see if Tom Lee's right or not. That will be very interesting, and what a great call it would be if that's the case. But the Mag 7, 8 if you include Abco, not so much, right? So we'll get into something very important when it comes to the index. A couple of different things actually to be very aware of. Also a pretty cool tool, but more important, not the tool, but when we talk about the gamma levels, and I'll show you how important it is to know whether you're in positive gamma, negative gamma, and show you why. Okay, I'm just on this tool I'm playing around with and stuff. And then something you're seeing on a whole bunch of these large cap stocks right now, which I will show you. I'm sure some of these you own. Okay, some on this certain pattern has played out. Some look like they're trying to play out. And again, if you're a bear, you really want these to play out. If you're a bull, you do not want these to play out. If you like stuff at a major discount, you probably want them to play out. So that's another way to look at it. But just kind of getting into this stuff right here. This is a tool that just tracks the GEX, for example, on QQQ. But you can see this is the levels on the GEX, right, throughout the day. You can see how this thing dropped down. You see how 595 becomes support and resistance. That's the Trump tweet, which we'll talk about in a minute, or some stuff that came out. But you see how it came down as support built up. And you can see these little bubbles building up as the GEX is building up on these levels. And we just could not get above and hold that 600, and this ended up coming down at the end of the day. You look over on SPY, you see something very similar. We had talked yesterday about that 660 level, and you can see all day it come into play, like all day, and we actually stopped right there at 4 o'clock today. It just drew back down. There was the gamma at 665, it just dissipated, and it started building up at 6660, or what did I say, 660? Yeah, we'll go 660. You can see it right there. There's the actual 660 level. And it just kept building until about the net gamma exposure around almost $3.5 billion right there. And this is what was said to pump the market up to get through that 660 level this morning.
Today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that 600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in materials, magnet, etc.
And remember what we talked yesterday, what have we not had? The algorithms have not had to be able to react to any kind of deals of any kind. And what word did he use? AI and $1 trillion. And it was like, boom, about a 1% pop very quickly, which of course ended up fading. But that's what it reacts to. It's like, whew, oh my God, it isn't Sam. Who is that talking? Did they say AI? And so that's what they're talking about. It doesn't matter whether it's monopoly money, fake money, real money. It doesn't even matter whether any of that's going to come true. The market hears and it goes, ooh, more investment. This is great. And it popped, right? Now, of course, what else is green? You had your crypto green today, which of course helped out with BMNR, Mr. And of course, what else is green? Well, here's a lot of your high beta stuff, the popular stuff. Not like it's super green like it used to be, but it's so hammered down that everything is due for a bounce at some point in time. But, it's all that risk on type of stuff. IWM looked good. And then what's not green? Well, your mega caps. Apple's still holding up. Google's still holding up. But, and then, of course, Oracle finally getting some kind of green. That thing has been just hammered like a dog. And then, of course, BMNR is holding a level, which it cannot lose. If it loses that level, just look at that. Woo! Not good. Not good at all. And, you look at Mister's, another one that's been hammering. I saw people on Twitter like, yeah, baby, we're so back. I'm like, look at the blip on the radar. I mean, do you realize what kind of run you're going to have? And I hope it does it for them. Trust me, I really do. I'm not rooting against anybody. And remember, this is in what? This is in a monthly fair value gap. It cannot lose that level. That little square right there, rectangle, excuse me. You can't lose that. You lose that, this thing is gone. It's already been gone, but it will be toast. Like, you cannot lose that because there'll be resistance coming back up. So that's a mess. And again, look, if Tom Lee's right somehow, and Ethereum bottom and Bitcoin's bouncing off the 89,000 level because plenty of buyers stepped in. When we start to go, those two stocks absolutely should start ripping because they've been just beat down, hammered. I know plenty of people are bottom fishing these, and so I hope they're right, okay? Now, if you look over here at SPY, you can see there is that 20-week moving average. We missed about like 0.3%, I believe it was today. I was hoping we were going to hit it today. What I'm hoping for is, I was telling members, I'm hoping we end up taking out that Trump candle right there and take out the October lows and touch the 20-week, because it's been weeks since we touched it. It rarely happens. I'm going to do a members video on this. I know I showed you guys, but normally you don't go this many months and weeks without touching the 20-week moving average, okay? And, again, when you look at momentum on the higher time frames, this is what we're going to stick to. is you see the bearish MACD cross. The RSI is not below 50 though. Okay, so again, there is this. You see we're setting higher highs on the SPY for a long time, and we're setting lower highs on the RSI right there. You can see, but again, this bearish MACD cross doesn't mean it has to be some crazy move down, because if the RSI pops back up on NVIDIA earnings, on all of a sudden the rate cuts start getting priced back in, whatever's happening. Okay, remember we got job data coming out Thursday, NVIDIA reporting tomorrow. Then this thing can go back up. It just signals, yes, a higher time frame momentum, or the higher time frame momentum has shifted down. But these are two momentum indicators which have to go together. You can't just have one. You have to have both of them when you look at these, okay? Again, on the 2 weeks, trying to roll over, trying to break that moving average, usually not good, okay? And so this is what we're looking at. When you go to the SPY, you can see on the daily, a lot of red, but the MACD is not below the 0 line yet. The RSI is below the 50, so bears are not completely in charge of this thing yet. If that MACD goes below the 0 line, oh boy, okay? Watch out. Now, again, I'd rather also come down there and take that out, take all those equal lows out, and then move up if that was going to be the case. We'll find out. Plus, you end up coming down into what was resistance, flipping into support. That would be nice. So again, you really don't get what you wish for, but I thought that would be pretty cool if it happens. Not saying we can't go lower, and I'm not saying that, not one bit. I can't predict NVIDIA earnings and what they're going to do as far as guidance. I can't predict the December rate cut and all that fun stuff. Now, looking over here at the SPX. Remember, we're in negative gamma. Very important to understand that. That's why you saw that on that first tool I showed you. Also, what do you see? As I told the members in the morning brief, watch the VIX. When you're in negative gamma, that's when you start getting these crazy swings in the VIX. And boy, it spiked to the next level, which we talked about yesterday. I said we're going up there, that 25 level. That's where we got to. Rejected, started selling down the rest of the day. Market started to recover midday. And then, of course, the VIX got a little bit of a bid and started holding on. And so we either heading to 20, or we're heading up there to that next level to the top, okay? So we talked about these rounding bottoms right here, but staying in negative gamma is not a good thing. And so we need to get back into positive gamma to start seeing this upside movement. Of course, on the larger time frames, we need to start seeing momentum start to shift, okay? What are you seeing on the larger time frames for these big mega caps? Tesla. MACD's touching. We don't have a bearish MACD cross, but again, you're only looking at one. We got to have both of these. You can see, again, just because there's a bearish MACD cross don't mean it's going to mean Tesla's going down like 30, 40%. It doesn't mean that at all. When you start pulling the RSI up with it, you can see why. And that's because the RSI is not below the 50 on the weekly yet, okay? But if that happens, and you can see because the RSI is not below 50 yet. If it gets below that 50 on the weekly, then we're in business to more downside. And you can see exactly what we talked about. It's just wedging right here. We got to reject off the trend line above. We got to bounce off the trend line below. Again, we break this trend line right here, going down 371. We pop up, say hello to right around 428 right there to fill that gap to start off with. Okay, and again, all of this will depend on the market. I know Tesla kind of goes against the market sometimes, but I think it will absolutely follow the market in this case. Now, a lot of these mega caps are still in these double tops. Is this going to play out in Tesla? I don't know. Clearly, if the market turns down, yes, you'll finally start to see that all the liquidity taken out on Tesla. But you look at Microsoft, same thing, right? Double top right there. This one hadn't played out yet. And this is one I want to show you when I talk about momentum. So when you're looking at momentum, and this right here, the double top right there, this one's been selling off, right? But it's only down 11%. Sounds like a lot. Not really. When you pull up the MACD, see the bearish MACD cross, and you think, see all the red down there, and you go, oh, we're going down, we're going down. Remember though, not below the 0 line, it's just a bearish MACD cross above the 0 line. But look what happened. Wow, wait a minute. How can you have a bearish MACD cross in the weekly, but the market, or excuse me, not the market, Microsoft went up 7.5%. That's why you got to pull up the RSI. What is the RSI doing as well? Because just because you have a bearish MACD cross don't mean any bears in charge of nothing. Okay, it's just a warning sign to say pay attention. But when you pull the RSI up, look what the RSI was doing. It was bouncing. As the MACD started to roll over, it started to go back up. Okay, and it got rejected off that moving average there. That's why it went up. So you have to have both momentum indicators up there. And this one has not crossed below the 50 on the RSI on Microsoft. Okay, like here, you see that where we had a bearish MACD cross and the RSI went below 50 and started just tanking. Look at Meta. This is a prime example. This thing right here, whoo boy, bearish MACD cross, and then look at the RSI. It's just going tanking. Got below, and you saw when the RSI got below 50, man, you saw the momentum just pick up to the downside. And like I said, we go to the daily. This thing can't get off the mat. I mean, it really can't. Usually you get a nice little bounce, but this is another one. What? Double top. Actually played out and then some. So you're starting to see these topping formation on all of these. That means all of them are going to play out though, okay? And again, Meta knows, cannot fall below this level. It wicked below it today and sucked back up. Got like a 3% bump once we went down there, and once the whole tweet came out and the market started to try to pull back up, But, and this one's down, I think it's down 26% at the moment. So the kicker is that if it falls below that level right there that I got marked out, then you're most likely, when you can't get above this little trend line here and start building out market structure, then congratulations, you're going to be picking Meta up around 549 to 555 when it fills that gap down there. So that's most likely what's going to happen. Actually, 545 to 65, I think it is. And so congratulations if that's you. But again, some people want that, some people don't. Right now it's down 26%. That will put it in a lot. Okay. Now, a couple things to watch. Utilities here. This isn't your grandpa's utilities anymore just because of what people are thinking about with power. It is bouncing off this 50. It has respected the 50. So watch for utilities. Maybe get a bid here. Obviously, if it loses the 50 and then comes out and rejects off of it, whole different ball game. Another one again, RSP. Watch this one below the 50, but it is coming into a level here down. If we do come out a little bit more, where you could see a bounce. And again, does it look like a rounding top? Yes. But if this sells off, that lets us know the whole market is just going down with it for whatever reason. So that's what we got to watch out for. Now, when it comes to earnings, going to have Target tomorrow, Lowe's, TJX. And so, we're getting to hear a lot about consumers, and it seems to be company by company basis here. And then the big boy, NVIDIA. Okay. And then you'll have Palo Alto, which nobody cares about because everybody's going to be listening for NVIDIA in the guidance. Tomorrow, all we're getting is FOMC minutes at 2, nothing else at this point in time. So don't worry about that. And so tomorrow will be a fun one to wrap up with. Let me know what you think NVIDIA is going to do with guidance, what you think the market's going to do here. And so please hit that like, subscribe button on your way out. Think about signing up for the membership, less than McDonald's combo. It's everything you get with it. And you just hit the first link down at the bottom of the description. And I will end up seeing you guys tomorrow.